you're trying to break into data analytics, you must have heard a lot of people saying that once you get your foot in the door, it gets easier from there. But is that really the case though? If you're new here, my name is Alex. I've been a data analyst now for a little over a year now, and this is what I do. I try to share my journey with you, and I document it here on YouTube so that I can help anyone that's also trying to break into the industry. And like I mentioned, I've been a data analyst for a little over a year, and I'm currently in my second job role within data analytics at the moment, and that's what I'm going to break down. Was it easier for me to land my second opportunity within data analytics once I got my foot in the door? Do recruiters all of a sudden start knocking on your door? Can you land a bigger job once you got your foot in the door? I'm going to talk about all of that today based on my experience in this video. Also, if you're new here, please do well to like and subscribe to my channel. It will help me a lot. My goal by the end of this year is to try and hit 1,000 subscribers. So anything that you can do to support me would be really helpful, whether that's liking the video, subscribing, or sharing with a friend or family member that's also trying to break into data analytics. That would be very super helpful for me. So please do that for me. So prior to becoming a data analyst, I used to work as a train guard. I've shared my journey a lot of times on my channel. So yeah, check out my videos if you haven't already. But yeah, I used to work on the railway as a train guard. And, after working as a train guard for almost 8 years, I got a little bit tired and really wanted to challenge myself and try something different. And then, I embarked on a journey of learning. And I think after 2 years, I finally, managed to make that transition and land a job role within data analytics. But prior to landing that first job opportunity, trust me, it wasn't easy. I had to really dig deep. I went through a lot, emotional roller coasters. I had to apply to, I think it took me over 200 plus applications before I landed my first job opportunity. And it took me 2 years to fully make that transition. And within that period, there was a lot of rejections. Like literally, I was receiving job application rejections literally every day. Unfortunately this, unfortunately that. Sometimes I'll be in a good mood and then I'll receive a rejection saying that, I was so successful with this and that application, and that will dampen my mood. Other times I'll be in a bad mood and that will, add on top of it. And, but I had to power through, keep on going. And finally, in the end, I got there after 200 plus applications and numerous rejections. So at the time when I was applying for jobs, because I just wanted to get my foot into the door, because a lot of people said that once you get your foot in the door, it gets easier from there. So I was taking a lot of risk. Looking back in hindsight, at the time, I probably didn't even know what I was doing, because I was willing to take a big pay cut. I was willing to take half of what I was earning as a train guard on the railway just to get my foot in the door, because people said, once you get in there, it gets easier from there. So I was applying to different jobs with different pay scales. Like some were paying really well, some were like almost, there was a point where I even applied for an apprenticeship job, just to get my foot in the door. And I wasn't thinking, because how was I going to sustain my family, because my circumstances has changed so much since I joined the railway as a train guard. Now I have a family, I have a mortgage and all of these things, and you can't just take that massive of a pay cut, So my plan was maybe, just take the job and get a second job on the side, and then, do that for now till, I get enough experience, and then, apply to something bigger and better where I can maybe match the salary that I was earning on the railway, or, earn a little bit more than that. But looking back in hindsight, I really wasn't thinking. I don't know how I was going to sustain myself and my family. So the job that I ended up getting was a contract job for 1 year, okay? And it was tough, but to be honest, I was so ready to get out that, I was just going to take it without thinking about it too much. But effectively, I was leaving a very comfortable position in the railway. I've worked there for almost 8 years, permanent, comfortable. It wasn't really stressful. On top of that, because I've been there for so long, I qualified for, a lot of paid sick leave if I needed to, so many benefits. And to take a risk and go into a position where I'm not permanent and it's a contract, so they can effectively terminate my contract at any time. But, at that time, I've made up my mind that, you have to risk it. If you want to win big rewards, you have to take big risks. So I decided to go for it, and lucky I did. It wasn't easy, but while I was there, I really put in a lot of effort, learning new things and, putting myself out there. staying up late, getting up early, and just learning whatever I needed to learn. Because, you know, when you're doing like projects, personal projects on the side, it's completely different from when you're actually in the job role. Like, I remember when I started, because it was a contract, I had to hit the ground running. You know, as soon as I got there, day one or day two, you know, they already had the project for me to work on. So it wasn't easy, but, you know, it helped me to also grow so much, you know. But obviously I knew it was a contract, and, you know, they can get rid of me at any time. So I think about 6 months in, I wanted to pass probation. So once I passed probation, after 6 months, I started looking for new job opportunities already, because I didn't want to get to the point where, you know, maybe like a month or something towards the end of my contract, and then they're going to tell me that, oh, we're not going to keep you on. And then, you know, I'm going to be in a very difficult situation, because especially landing a job within tech is very difficult, because a lot of times you have to prove yourself. You know, you have to go through numerous assessments, applications, interviews, and so on before you can land one job opportunity. So I had to start early. So 6 months in, I started looking already and started applying for lots of different jobs within data analytics. So when I started applying for jobs again, obviously people have said that once you get your foot in the door, it gets easier from there. So, you know, I'm excited and I'm applying for lots of different jobs in different sectors, you know. And you know what? I was shocked, because the amount of rejections I was getting. So, like, for about 2 months, I was getting nothing, no interviews, no nothing, just pure rejections. I'm thinking, wait, I'm getting less opportunities than when I didn't have any experience. You know, what's going on? Like, so maybe what they're saying about, you know, when you get your foot in the door, it gets easier, might not be true after all. Also, after 2 months, that means I got 4 months left before my contract comes to an end. So I need to do something really fast. So I was starting to get quite worried. And, you know, it could have been many, of course, it could have been, you know, many reasons why I wasn't getting it. It could have been the job market was bad at the time. But, you know, I don't really look at that kind of stuff. I'm thinking, wait, I actually have experience now. Like, I've done the job and I can't even get an interview, you know. But I guess also as well, whereas before I was just applying for any job, apprenticeships and, you know, high-paying job roles within data analytics. This time around, obviously, with experience, I'm not going to be applying for much less than what I was earning. And one important fact that I forgot to mention as well is that the job that I got on a contract, luckily for me, it actually matched the salary that I was getting as a train guard. So I didn't have to try and get a second job and all of that in the end, you know. But yeah, so this time around, I was applying for jobs that will at least match what I was earning on the contract job, or a little bit more. Of course, why will I apply for jobs that's less than what I'm on now that I actually have experience? It didn't make any sense. So I guess because of that as well, that played a part, you know, because of course, applying for higher paying jobs, you know, there's more competitions and so on, you know. But yeah, I was getting no love in the job market whatsoever. I was looking at how things were going. I thought, you know what, I need to take a step back and reanalyze this, you know, because I was really applying. I was applying for about 5 jobs a day, you know, at one point. But yeah, I was getting nothing from it. But then I thought, you know what, apart from having the analytical skills as well, now I have domain knowledge in 3 different sectors. So I worked in retail banking before that, and then the railway, and now I was working within a council as well. So I got that experience in the public sector as well. So I'm thinking I need to take advantage of that, you know. So if I add my technical skills that I have plus the domain knowledge I have already in these different sectors, that might help me, because that's the good thing about data analytics. They don't only look at your technical side, they look at your experience in the industry as well. So if you're someone that is trying to if you're someone that's worked in healthcare before, it makes sense for you to apply for a data analyst job within healthcare, because, you know, it's good to have that context as well, and employers, you know, tend to appreciate that as well, you know. So I decided to focus on where I have that domain knowledge. So I targeted retail banking jobs, railway jobs, and then also public sector jobs. And the retail banking one, because it was quite a long time ago, nothing came from that. But then I started to get a lot of love from the railway and the public sector side of things. Then I started getting interviews. Interviews started coming in once I honed in on these two sectors. So I started applying for more and more jobs within those industries. So once I honed in on those sectors, I started getting like lots of interviews. In fact, I had so many interviews that I had to turn some of them away, and just focus on a few because, of course, I was still working full time and, balancing family responsibility or whatnot. And I didn't have a lot of time on my hands to prepare for those interviews because, there's a lot of processes, and it's better to just focus on a few and then put in like 100% on those rather than spread myself so thin that I can't really, focus and prepare well. So I had to start turning some of them away. And during those interviews as well, with the experience now, I promise you, I felt so comfortable in the interviews that it didn't even feel like interviews when I was interviewing. Like, I was comfortable, I was bantering with the recruiters, and it didn't feel like an interview, like, because I knew everything that they were talking about. I could relate, and I could give better examples, when they asked me questions, like real life examples. Sometimes I actually have evidence of the things that I've done. If I had any certificates that I received, I showcase all of that, so I had a lot of evidence. So it just made the interview process like seamless for me. In the end, with regards to the interview, overall, they went really well. There was only one that, I was rejected for after the interview and assessment, but and there was another two as well that up to now, I don't think they're ready to actually recruit someone because they keep emailing me still after probably been about 6 months now, saying that, they're still looking to recruit that person. And I did an interview over 4 to 6 months ago, so that's the reason why, I didn't hear back from those ones. But in the end, I ended up receiving 2 offers and I had to choose between one of them. And the first offer was really good, but it was also another contract. But this time around, it was 18 months, which was very good for me. And that was within the council and the public sector side of things. And the pay was about 10%, almost 10% higher than what I was currently on in my existing contract at the time. So it was good. And then I also received another one on the railway side as well, which was slightly lower. But in the end, I ended up negotiating for them to beat my previous offer. So I had to choose between the two. And I really wanted the one on the railway because, I worked on the railway before. It's really good to work on the railways. There's a lot of benefits, good pension schemes, and, it's good, man. It's not too high pressured, like when you're working in the private sector, so I was holding up for that. So they were dragging their feet a little bit, but the difference as well in these interviews is that, like, I really felt wanted. Like, I could see the recruiters actually wanted me, like they couldn't wait for me to, like, they didn't want me to go anywhere else. They wanted me. So the first one I received the offer for was actually a job that I applied for where I got rejected, but the manager or the recruiter called me after being rejected saying, you know what, you were unsuccessful for the position you applied for, but, there's another role which is quite similar to what you're doing already. The pay is the same. It's just like different titles. Like, do you want that? At the time I hadn't landed anything yet. So I said, you know what? Yeah, like, put me in the hat for that. But I didn't even have to re-interview. They just said, if I want the job role, it's mine because I already did the previous interview and they were happy with what I did there. It's just that, someone did better than me in that particular, for that particular job role. But there's another one that matched more closely to the skills that I already have. So if I want it, it's mine. So I had to do another informal one just to meet the managers for that one. And literally all they really wanted to know was, when I could start and, when, I'll be ready for them to hand over because someone was leaving and they need someone for them to hand over quickly. And then, I don't have to start straight away, but I just need to be there for the handover. Then I can start when I was ready. So that was what that was all about. All that was about, So yeah, in the end, I received 2 offers. Ended up going for the one on the railway where I'm currently working now. I've been doing the job role now for about almost 4 months now, and it's been going really well. And another key thing that I forgot to mention as well is that my current job role now is a more senior position that I was doing before, even though what I was doing is effectively the same, but like the title was a managerial position, and I've only been doing this for, like, at the time, less than a year, about 10, 11 months before I landed this one. So in conclusion, does it get easier once you get your foot in the door? And the simple answer here for me is yes, from my experience. I felt, initially when I was applying to lots of different analyst positions, I wasn't successful then. But then once I focused on the experience that I had, then it got easier from there. And, it got to the point where I'll apply for certain jobs and I was almost super confident that I'll hear back from them and I'll at least get an interview. So I started preparing well ahead before I even heard back from the employer. But then again, I also feel like as you get more and more experience as well, it can also get quite difficult because, when you have a lot of experience, you're more selective with the kind of jobs that you apply for, which then obviously limits the pool of jobs that you can actually apply to. And then, when you're applying for jobs where a lot of experience is required, you're going up against a lot of competition because there's a lot of people in the game with also lots of experience. And then you have to go through more difficult assessments as well. For me, I feel like the assessments where I've been successful were, assessments where it was like take-home sort of assessments, but the ones I had to do in person, a lot of them haven't really been successful. It's very difficult when someone is watching over you and you're manually typing every code, whatnot, in SQL and that kind of thing. I found that very stressful and very difficult. But a lot of the jobs that I've landed were all sort of take-home ones. I do much better in those ones. But I guess a lot of the ones which requires a lot of experience and pay a lot, I can imagine, you have to, do live presentations and, live coding or whatnot, to land a position. So it might get a little bit more difficult, But yeah, overall, yes, it does get easier to, find different jobs within data analytics once, you have a bit of experience. And then also it's easier for you to pivot into, different positions because that's a good thing about data analytics. You don't have to only apply for jobs within data analytics, but the experience you get can be applicable in so many different areas as well. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this video, then please do well to like the video for me. It does help me a lot. And also subscribe to the channel if you're new here and enjoyed, any part of this video. Like I mentioned to you, I'm on a journey to try and hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year. I only got like a month left. We're in November, so I'm recording this video. But anything that you can do to help me will be greatly appreciated so that, it will give me the vim to be able to record more videos just like this for you guys. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I've been Alex. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.